what we're sharing here is a completely different facet of the path. We're all in a completely different stage of the path, and new things become necessary. So, yeah, I still see the roles as important, but ideally we want to be evolving from those roles. You know, and those roles will evolve naturally, like they already are. You know, well, we're all just discussing what we already see. No one's done anything really to change the roles. You know what I mean? It just happens. But it's good to be aware of it, because then you can make a decision, and that's the most important thing. Anything that we see on this path, anything that we can't do anything about per se, on a literal sense, right? It's enough to just get enough understanding to make it, to be clear on what you want. And that's very important.
Yeah. The reason why the separate being is looking for, like Christine brought the age condition, but there are other right conditions that we can kind of hold on to.
Yes. Yes, definitely.
A way for the separate beings to sustain, right, this
seeking
journey, right?
Yes. It's another condition.
Conditions to keep failing and keep seeking it.
Exactly. Because God forbid, when I heard, I was in an ashram, I was just seeking my guru, and I went to the ashram, got rejected. He told me to go home. Long story. I think some of you know it, but I won't go into detail now. And I came to the ashram the next day, hopeless, wondering what on earth am I going to do? I planned to renounce to a temple. The guru's just told me to go home. And I sit there, and an Indian guy, my age at the time, comes up to me, and he's chatting to me. And he's asking, "Oh, why are you here? Or do you like the Shivananda? You know, have you followed him?" I was like, "Yeah, of course I have. I didn't even know who he was till I got there." Yeah. I know exactly everything about this guy. And he's like, "Oh, have you heard of this guy and this guy?" And he goes, "Oh, by the way, you need to check this guy out. His name's Rupert Spira." And I thought, nah. Are you sure it's not Sri Rupert Spira G? Are you sure? Is his name just Rupert Spira? He's like, yeah, he's an English guy. He used to be a potter and then got enlightened. I was like, pottery, eh? I was almost considering becoming a potter. And I was like, no, this can't be true. He's white, he's British, and he wears normal clothes. I thought, this is a ridiculous idea. He can't be enlightened. You know what I mean? And I went away, and anyway, he sent me a playlist of 64 videos, and he said, watch them in order. He said, he had 64 videos. He said, watch them in order. Start on this one. And the first thing he said was, the boy in the movie, he said, searching for happiness in the world is like a boy in the movie searching the movie for the screen in which he plays. And I was like, oh my God. It hit me. I was the boy in the movie searching for the screen. And I understood the screen because the analogy was replication of my life. So the screen became obvious to me. That's when I knew Rupert knew something. I didn't think he was my teacher at the time. That's when I thought, okay, maybe I won't judge this guy for being British. And it opened up a new possibility. And then I was actually open to what he was saying. And that's all I did for the next 6 months. I attended his retreats and meetings and things. And it just dawned on me one day, oh, wow. I thought Rupert was the guru I was looking for this entire time. But his British disguise tricked me into thinking he wasn't a guru, so that I actually listened to what he said without putting it on a pedestal, therefore understanding exactly what he was saying. So this is the relevance now of that archetype. It's disarming, you know? It takes you out of the pedestal and you actually go, oh, it's kind of interesting, actually. And you're actually interested. It's not like, oh, this person removed my suffering, and then you go into that mode. So, yeah, the archetypes are important, and embodying our own archetypes. Because this understanding, whether we share it or not, and this is something as well relevant for what you were sharing earlier, Till, is that we want to integrate what we share, what we hear, into our own experience. What we find is that we don't want to look for the pitfalls of other teachers, But we want to find what do I find isn't included that I found valuable on my path that might be very valuable for other people to understand. Because Rupert didn't go through any of the experiences I went through. If he gets asked about psychedelics, for example, there's a lot of people traumatized through psychedelics. If he gets asked about psychedelics, he doesn't know what to say. You know, he gives an answer because it doesn't come from experience. So there's a lot of people who have had crazy, exotic experiences that give them a great sense of specialty that are going to be misunderstood by Rupert, for example, that won't be misunderstood by me, right? And then we all will have our own unique experiences. And that is what will flourish in us. That is the gaps in what we see around us that give us this sense of autonomy over our understanding. That's where it can flourish. It can flourish in noticing, this is something that I notice is very valuable for my path. And it starts to mirror the gaps in us, not the gaps in us, but the things in us that the world actually would benefit from. Those levels of understanding. They are also important to see, because we look so much for what isn't there, we forget about the value of what is there and what we have actually learned and what we can actually embody on a level of autonomy. Because a lot of the times, we don't know what we know until we go where we go, right? We don't know we know it until we go there. And that's how we go there. And that's how we can actually start to ground that in our experience.
Hey, if you like this video, I do calls like this every single week in my free community. The link's in the description if you'd like to check that out. Thank you very much. Bye.